What's up, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today we have a loss, first loss on these trade recaps, even though we're only 2 trades in. Today is August 21st. You can see we lost in total with fees $1,288. This is a simple mistake. There's 2 mistakes that I actually made, but honestly they were pretty simple. One of them just being basic error, one of them being, I guess, in confluence with that error. This was a good trade to take if I had waited until the news candle came out and seen that it was bearish. And yeah, anyway, let's jump into this. So let me launch replay trading. We'll start right here, and I'll get rid of this on the 4-hour time frame. I believe I had seen this fair value gap right here get tapped into on the 4-hour, and assuming after this decent downsize move or a downwards move and reacting off this fair value gap, I thought it was one either going to push lower to these lows and react, or it was going to reverse immediately. So going down to the 1-hour, I see that actually, sorry, this candle was not open yet. I see this right here. I see price heading towards London lows, and the order block, which are these 2 lines right here. That's the order block here. So I knew that there was probably going to be some sort of push up, at least some New York highs, before it would reverse and take out these levels. Honestly, I believed it would take out London highs. Price then, actually, we can just go to the 30-minute time frame where we marked out the highs and lows. You can see we got a break structure to the downside, but we have a bullish trend here. Then it breaks to the downside, which is fine. I knew there was some resting liquidity here, which there actually was before news came out. So simulating the first candle, we had news. I'll bring that up. News today was, we don't have to worry about any of these, but USD unemployment claims. That was going to be the first news candle, which is the one that I just simulated, which I'll go back over. And then 8:45 was flash PMI of flash services. So, knowing that this was the news candle right here, you see we made a data high. I believe that's a data, yeah. No, that's pre-data high. So we came up, filled this bearish fair value gap, and then had this big move down. This was the data high. So I knew that was a draw on liquidity, even though we tapped into this order block. But then we come into London lows like I originally thought. I'm now looking to see buying pressure out of this. So marked out a high right here. I see an immediate break of structure. I marked that as a break of structure. I then see a fair value gap form after that second candle. I know we are in a 5-minute bearish fair value gap right here, but I'll explain why I didn't think that this mattered in a second. So you see we get this fair value gap, and we do get a fat tap into it. And then we are looking for a 1-minute break of structure out of this fair value gap. We chop a little bit in here. As you can see, we'll simulate a few more candles. We actually chopped a little bit. We invalidated it on the 1-minute, but not on the 5-minute, so it's not actually invalidated. But it was kind of like a weak fair value gap. But as you can see, we had a high marked out. This was our high right here. We broke structure out of it. I was watching this candle and entered after this candle closed, but spread entered me up here. So this is solid. This is a solid entry. The reason why I didn't think this bearish fair value gap would be any big deal is because on the higher time frames there was no bearish fair value gap. Like here, for example, and I believe we were currently in a bullish fair value gap, if I'm correct. Yeah. So we were currently, this candle wasn't fully simulated. Sorry, the replay trading is kind of weird. But at the time, we had this big fair value gap that we were currently in that we tapped into on the 4-hour, and no bearish fair value gap. So a 5-minute bearish fair value gap normally does not trump over, a higher time frame. Higher time frames hold higher power. So as you can see, this is the trade. We were actually in profit, and if it wasn't for spread, we probably would have, you see at the top of this wick right here, I had an alert at this line. This is my 1-to-1 RR line, which means after price crosses this, I move stop loss to break even. So if we didn't get caught with so much spread, maybe if I was a little more patient with my entry, waited for a little bit of a pullback, that would have been lower. Could have got break even here, but I'm not too mad with this trade. I think it was a good setup still. But this next candle will show exactly why I lost this trade. You can see this 835 right here. The next candle's 840, and the next one's 845. Fat news candle. So this is pre news candle, and then this was the main one, but I consider the 5 minutes beforehand on how that traded. It's definitely a news candle as well, because you can see it made a decent move down at exactly 845, but it was, sentiment was already decided there. Got stopped out. Honestly forgot about news. When I was entering this trade, I was really rushed and forgot that I could have just waited 20 minutes for a solid entry. Because after news candle, I'll show the trade that I probably should have taken. If there was one, I believe there was a setup going bearish. Usually we push past London lows and we re-tap back into it right here. We're then looking for shorts here because, our bias wasn't actually in concrete today. It wasn't that obvious of a bias. But we're then waiting for a break of structure. We don't get one yet, so we get the low. We get a break of structure right here. Now waiting for a fair value gap to get filled. This line right here is one of our liquidity levels. As you can see, we come back up. I believe we tap into this fair value gap right here. Perfect. I know this fair value gap was already previously filled, but it was pre-break of structure. So according to my rules, I do not enter off of that. We get a 1 minute tap in here. We're now waiting for a break of structure to the downside out of it, which would be not right there. I believe we did get a break of structure to the downside though out of this. Another low created right there. Beautiful. Sorry, I'll just put the short position right here off of that candle. Should technically would have been let's just say with spread, it's about right there. Probably around London lows because of this wick. Put the stop loss below that, and then my other liquidity level was down here, so like a 1.4. Maybe if I lowered this to actually where it should have been, like 1.7. And then price. Did we not take out this liquidity level? We didn't. Okay. So I probably would have stopped out at break even there. Yeah, because here was 1RR. This is where I would have. This is where I probably would have set break even. Can't say what I would have done about taking any partials, but according to my strategy, I would have been stopped out at break even. Just because it didn't take out this liquidity level. I think it may have during the rest of the day. Oh, no, it didn't. But yeah, it's fine to take losses sometimes. Especially just stupid mistakes. It reminds you to stick to your basics, stick to the fundamentals of not trading before news comes out. That was definitely a reminder that I kind of needed. So 2 mistakes. This bearish for value gap, even though there was conviction on this not really mattering. Even though it had been, not that fair value gap. Apologies. This one right here. Even though it had been reacted on at once. There was no 4-hour fair value gap or anything that would apply bearish sentiment, but turns out there was. So nothing wrong with being wrong sometimes. No more trades for the rest of the week. That was my only trade this week. I'm only taking 4 trades this month. Negative on the month. It's August price action. What can I say? Next week will be a good week. We got no news Monday and GBP holiday, so GBPUSD will not be getting traded. USD JPY potentially. Tuesday, no news Tuesday, going to be good for price action. Wednesday, no news Wednesday. Prelim and unemployment. That'll also be a good trading day, I believe, after news comes out. And then core price index, that's also going to be good after price comes out. So the potential to redeem this month. Next week with a potential 5 trading days, maybe 4 if you count the no news Monday. And that'll end us off the month, hopefully, in profit. I'd like to take, my goal is to take 3 trades during this next week. If we can take 2, that'd be great. I'd love 2 winning trades, especially when my average RR is 2 RR. So we'd definitely end in profit, that's for sure. So, all right, thanks. thanks for watching this trading recap. I'll continue to make these every time because it's good for journaling for me. Instead of writing everything out, it's good to talk through everything. So appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for the next one.